All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
On the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rain.
And welcome back, everyone. This is hour 2 of tonight's show. I'm Rob McConnell, and this is the X Zone. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed classic1220.ca. My guest this hour, X Zone Nation, is Amelia Kinkade. She is the author of Straight from Heaven, The Horse's Mouth, How to Talk to Animals and Get the Answers. And The Language of Miracles, a celebrated psychic teaches you to talk to animals. She is an internationally acknowledged speaker, which has been featured in the top 100 psychics in America. Her unique abilities have been the focus of countless magazines and newspaper articles worldwide, and she has appeared on several national television programs. Joining me now from Silver City, New Mexico, where apparently it's snowing, is Amelia Kinkade. And you know, Amelia, the words snow and New Mexico, I've never been able to put them together before.
There are high altitude places here, Rob. There are mountains, and I never knew it either. So I came out here when COVID hit. I had been based in Los Angeles and teaching in 27 countries. So there are actually 6 books out there now. And the one that you're referring to is called Straight from the Horse's Mouth. So that's my bestseller. And it's just been a phenomenal ride.
So how did all this start for you?
Well, I couldn't have been more surprised. And I think this is one of the reasons why I've been able to create terminology and a kind of structure of how to develop supernatural abilities that perhaps a lot of people wouldn't have pursued if they didn't discover this really just out of the blue, like a geyser, and then try to describe what was happening and how it works and why it works, and then be able to teach other people. So I discovered this in my early 20s, and I was in Hollywood, and I think living with my aunt, Rue McClanahan of Golden Girl fame. A lot of people know Rue, and she also was this massive animal lover. But I took my cat to someone who supposedly could talk to animals. It was Beatrice Lydecker. She was driving from one vet's office to another all over America, solving problems that the vets couldn't solve. And I had no idea that it was even possible to talk to animals. I'd never met anybody who could talk to animals. And I took this noisy kitten to go see this woman because he was just screaming bloody murder, keeping me up all night every night. And I was just a kid in my early 20s. And Beatrice Lydecker took one look at this cat, and this is the opening story of Straight from the Horse's Mouth, of how it happened for me. And she said, among other things, she said, I'm asking him his favorite place to sleep in the house, and it's on the back of a peach-colored armchair that's covered in big white flowers that overlooks a bay window, and across the street is a wooden fence, and behind the wooden fence is a little white dog. Did you know your cat goes over there and makes that dog bark? And she went on to solve problems. You know, he seemed to be afraid of the dark. She told me exactly where he had come from in Van Nuys, and this is exactly where I got him, and that if he didn't yell all night, the workmen wouldn't throw food out for him. And she taught a workshop, and I took that workshop thinking, I can't do this. You know, I've never even imagined it was possible. And I went into that seminar, and I think this was part of the success of it, Rob. I had no expectation. There was no ego investment at all. I loved my cat, and that was it. That was the end of the story. I loved him. That was it. I wanted to know what was wrong with him, how to help him, I wanted him to be happier.
So,
And that
so basically, the cat
yeah.
was screaming all night because the cat was hungry.
Well, he was traumatized. He had been in a warehouse, and I had adopted him from the Van Nuys Animal Shelter,
Right.
and he was incredibly lonely. And the last thing on earth I wanted was another cat. And she said, "You've got to get him a girlfriend." A lot of male animals are not so great on their own, particularly dogs, but also some male cats. They're very sociable. People don't realize that they live in colonies and they're sociable. So I took this seminar, and when it happened for me, Rob, it was a mind-blowing explosion that changed everything I ever thought about three-dimensional reality and our limitations within that matrix and our lack of limitations within that matrix when we're learning how to telepath with, and what is now for me, everything under the sun. You know, when I'm leading safaris in Africa, it's 5 elephants are going to be waiting for me around my tent or chalet before my plane lands, before I know where I'm going. They will not even have assigned a key for me yet. 5 elephants, at least 2 lions. I'm in the 3rd generation of leopards, giraffes. Every single creature can communicate. And it doesn't have anything to do with animals. It has to do with us. That if we're able to change, and it's as if, you know, you're using different software. What is this new upgraded software where we activate the pineal gland, and then we discover that everything, including insects and great white sharks and whales that I work with in Hawaii, everything is already communicating with all the other animals. The only one left out of the loop is the human being.
How come?
We have been, I really believe it's a kind of entrainment. Where you are, there are native people. I'm a card-carrying Choctaw, but also from my heritage, and it's everybody's heritage now, whether it's Scotch-Irish, Eskimo, Native American, Aborigine. I mean, we all have roots. And native people, tribes that were closer to the earth. And everyone seemed, everywhere I go, people can do it. But there is a new way of learning how to trust your intuition. And we all do this. We all negate it. I mean, when I'm teaching, I'll say, well, how many of you have ever had that feeling? You're on the road and you know the car in front of you is going to cut you off and not signal.
And
you know it's going to happen.
Sure.
So what are you picking up on? And that humans have been taught that we're better than the other animals. And I do mean other animals. We are one of 5 kinds of great apes. But we think that we're somehow more entitled. And it has come through a bunch of pretty young current religions that have said, oh, the humans are at the top of some sort of chain. And if you look at the environment and what we've done to the planet, that's gotten us in a lot of trouble.
It sure has. In fact, I believe we're at the bottom of the chain.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, because the animals on the planet are the elders. The elephants that I work with have been walking their sacred paths for we don't know how long, hundreds of thousands of years. We don't know. And unless we can humble ourselves and find a way to tap into a stream of information, which we're now calling 6th dimension, which is where the Akashic records are stored, which is what Edgar Cayce was reading, you know, America's greatest psychic in the 1930s. We're the one that has to evolve. Now, all the other creatures on the planet are already communicating with each other. Obviously, they have signal systems. If you look at insects, ants are fascinating. It's obvious they can talk to each other. if you have a few crumbs under your couch, you're going to eat, one ant will find it, and you're going to end up with 10,000 ants in your house.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah.
So it's up to us to learn their languages and what we need to do in order to quiet our own minds.
You know, Amelia, you were talking about the instincts that we all have, but many refuse to use. Now, when I was a police officer for many years, and I used to get that gut feeling. And you know, that gut feeling worked out for me, I'd say 99.9% of the time.
And didn't it get you in trouble when you didn't listen?
Definitely. Definitely.
And there's a kind of instinctive authority. I mean, if we are all, when I'm teaching, I say we're cells in the body of God.
Oh, I like
we are
that.
part of Mother Nature's skin. We on this earth are one organism. And the humans are the only one who's gotten so incredibly out of balance with the others. And if you look at the animals, they're not as neurotic as humans are.
Nope.
And they're more loving, they're more joyous, they enjoy friendships, they enjoy taste and touch and scent and play and love, and everything about their world was perfect.
Exactly. They appreciate the simplicity of nature.
And much more.
Yeah.
Because if people don't understand how to tap their consciousness and listen to what are they thinking? What are they going through? What are they feeling? Rather than thinking it's somehow less than us, because most humans are not evolved enough yet to telepath. And so that's not the animal's fault. They may be having profound experiences, and most of them are. And it's amazing that you said that. I've had some of my students who have been police officers, SWAT, doctors, astronauts, vets. There's always that instinct. There's something in you that is connected to the larger, great whole spirit. And that is going to say, don't do that.
That's right.
And all my cop friends have not only said police dogs jumped on someone and saved the cop's life before the cop even knew something was wrong, but my fireman students say, well, something in me said, don't run this way.
Yeah.
Turn around and run the other way. And then the ceiling collapsed and the guy would have died. And we can't continue to be so arrogant that we refuse to listen. We have everything that we need within us if we learn how to silence our mind, silence our emotion, and become aware of the capacity. If the scientists are telling us we only use 4% of our brains. Now, a cat's brain might be the size of an almond, but I guarantee they use the whole thing.
Amelia, we're going to have to take a break here, so please stand by. Exonation, our guest this hour is Amelia Kinkade. Her website is ameliakinkade.com. That's AmeliaKinkade.com. And this is the X-Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard, Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until midnight, right here on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. I'm Rob McConnell. Amelia and I will be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
On the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand.
And welcome back to the X-Zone. I'm Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, right here on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. Now, if you would like to send me an email, if there's a special guest you'd like us to bring onto the show, if you have a question, or if you're looking for help and you just can't find the right person, just send me an email. I'll be glad to help you out any way I can. Our email address is xzone@1220.ca. Amelia Kinkade is my special guest, and she is an animal communications expert, and her website is ameliakinkade.com. Thanks very much for joining us, Amelia. It's great talking to you, and wow, what was it like the very first time that you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that you were actually communicating with an animal?
Oh, what a wonderful question. It's I was taking this initial workshop, which is what I now teach online and in person. I'm going to get to travel again this year. So I get to watch this happen with people coming in who are in love with their animals. And they don't suspect if there's an ego connection, it's going to get in your way. That all we have to do is learn how to quiet our minds. Now, if your mind is a mental program and you're running this monkey chat, this patter, as we all are, we learn how to silence that. So this is a kind of meditation, moving into the heart and stepping back from the turbulent emotions and feeling a space inside of you that is nothing but love and gratitude and peace and grace. And then in that silent, sacred space, you're looking at a dog or a cat. In this case, it was a dog. And I sent the thought, and we're acknowledging the fact that thoughts are real. That when you send out a thought, it actually has an electrical charge. Now we can use analogies like email, which makes things a lot easier for us. But you can't email if you don't know how to get online. And the getting online is the connection to your own heart, your soul. And that is the kind of gateway into you call it fifth dimensional, unconditional love. You continue on that pathway, and then you discover that information is being exchanged. Physical information, mental, emotional, past memories the animals had, what's going on with them physically, what's going on emotionally. And I was looking at the dog, and when it really clicked in with me, I asked her, have you ever had puppies? Have you ever been in love? And I've got this big dog, a big black dog sitting in front of me. And I found myself in her body, and I was running through the grass. Now, if you're skimming 6 inches across above the grass, and you come up to a pine cone and sniff it, it smells better than anything you've ever smelled in your life. I went, all right, this is an altered state. I look up, there's a pine tree. I look over, there's a trailer home. And then there's a huge fence in front of me, and I'm rushing toward this chain link fence. A voice in my head. Now, this is called clairaudience, and the difference between hearing voices and being insane and hearing voices and being sane is that if you're connecting things with language and your information is accurate, then you know you've discovered something that's not madness. And I was running toward this chain link fence. I hear a voice say, if I could have had puppies, I would have wanted to have them with him. Now, my trigger, there's an emotional trigger. And I'm feeling it right now. I'm choking up. My eyes are filling with tears. It's that state of grace, that awe, that willingness. It's a willingness. I mean, when you ask the question, why have we separated ourselves? Thinking that we're avoiding pain somehow. Not realizing that there's joy in the connection. And yes, you do have to surrender your fear and your ego. You do have to take a risk. And I was meeting this other dog through the chain link fence, licking his face. And I heard a voice say, Mother took me away from him in the divorce. And we moved, and I never saw him again. And then I found myself in the future I rolled forward. I looked down. There's an incision in my abdomen. And I feel all the pain. She's had her hysterectomy, and she said, and now I take care of all the neighborhood cats. And I felt my nose and all these sweet smelling, delicious creatures. Well, when it happens, and what I'm seeing now, it's like a global event. Psychic ability is happening to everybody. It is available now in a way that it's never been available before.
Why is that? Why are so many people having their psychic abilities opened, and this new awareness that seems to be coming out of nowhere, but everybody's acknowledging it?
Well, if we acknowledge it, there's an entirely new way to go through life. And there's a different way to perceive the world around us. Now, when that dog's human mother confirmed every single thing I said, burst into tears and said, tell her I'm sorry, tell her I'm sorry. I didn't know she was in love with a neighbor's dog. I'm sorry she couldn't have puppies. I'm sorry I got divorced and had to move. Yes, now she loves the cats. Now I'm in this precarious position of trying to explain to a dog why humans do some of the cruel things that we unintentionally do. And all of a sudden I was an ambassador between species. Within 2 weeks I was on a national television show, live, and scared to pieces, but just working with this newfound ability and trusting it. And right now there's a massive global awakening. I mean, we're again being entrained to think, oh, it's so bad, everything's awful, the world's getting worse. Well, that's a point of view, but that might not be true at all. We're at a point now where our pineal gland, which is our third eye in our brains, is beginning to open. And there are higher dimensions of information available to us now. And the animals have been patiently waiting for the human race to grow up. And we now have the opportunity to do it and be stewards to them and listen to them and learn from them. But if we can't even develop our own ESP, or whatever you want to call it, supernatural ability, our ability to tap consciousness with our own consciousness, then we can't save this world. So we're out of time now. We don't have another choice. And fortunately, so many people it's an evolution. It's a potential in evolution. And it's very exciting.
How do you deal with a dog or a cat or any animal that has suffered the abuse at the hands of humans? It must tear you apart.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. When we turn our face away and say, oh no, I can't look at that. I won't share that pain. I won't feel that pain. I'm not responsible for that pain.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're shrinking and we're becoming less than our potential. So we're going backwards instead of forwards. Now, if we're anchored to this great spirit, this infinite wisdom, this universal creativity, the God goddess within all of us, then we're anchored in a different kind of way. And we're able to say, yes. I mean, one of the elephant on my website, one of them was standing on 3 feet. She'd stepped on a landmine in Thailand that are left over from the war. They're in children's playgrounds. And I flew over there to comfort her. So if there's a part of you that is so connected to the spirit within you, the spirit that is in all of us, we're all different expressions of God's beauty and glory and creativity. And when we're acknowledging that, then we can say, yes, I don't care how bad this is going to hurt and how much pain you've been in. We're going to release it now. And as of this moment, we're going to go forward and enjoy our lives, and you're going to be able to enjoy your life. So it's a kind of courage that comes from a connection to God Goddess, all that is.
I can agree with that to a certain point. However, one of the jobs that I did as in the communication business was I was the director of communication for the SPCA. And I saw so much
Rob,
pain,
I'm so sorry.
sorrow,
Oh my God.
the abuse that animals go through. People believe, not the majority, the minority of people believe that animals are disposable. Little Jimmy wants a clown trigger for Christmas because he saw Following Nemo. He gets the fish, doesn't take care of it. It either dies or it gets flushed down the toilet. Black cats at Halloween. Puppies at Christmas who no longer have the ability to have a home because mom and dad and the little boy decided he's too much or she's too much trouble. Animals that were emaciated because people just don't care. I'll tell you, I had a hard time doing it, but it was a job that had to be done.
Oh, that is amazing. And your police background must have given you so much more courage. And it's education that is
Yes.
missing.
Yeah.
It's education, and it's a different approach to education. So when I've flown to Africa, it's always been just gratis that I was volunteering to help cheetah sanctuary, great white sharks, penguins, anything, everything. Lions. I'm very much into big cats, and I'm always in the middle of the elephant-human conflict when I can be, because I love
Sure.
to be in that conflict. And I started my own charity because I thought, well, the children have to have a different belief system. They're not being educated in a way that makes any sense. And children instinctively know. I mean, unless that instinct has been beaten out of a child, people bring me their kids all over the world. We instinctively know the difference between right and wrong. We instinctively have compassion. I believe children have to have it shamed out of them. And if at one point as a child that a parent or a teacher said, "Oh no, Rob, you can't possibly know that," generally they're trying to hide something. If your parents were fighting and you walked in the room and you said, "Mommy, why are you crying? Why are you angry at Dad?" And your mother said, "I'm not angry. I'm not crying." Then the child learns how to negate his instinct. He thinks, okay,
I must be wrong.
I must be wrong, or I need to hide this. I can see things that the adults don't want me to see. Now, that the child knows that horse can talk. The child knows that dog has feelings. The
Yes.
child knows that cat is grieving or angry. And what I'm doing is giving you back to yourself.
All right,
Saying-
Amelia, we're going to have to take a break here. I'm sorry. These are all hard breaks. I can't even go a second longer. So please stand by. Exonation Amelia Kinkade is our very special guest this hour. Visit her website, ameliakinkade.com, and we'll both be back as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. Don't go away.
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen, to the greatest show on earth.
Well, she was born in a fun house. She grew up on a wild mouse. Drives a bumper car around the ground. And a big rig from town to town. She sleeps on a roller coaster.
And welcome back, everyone. That's my good friend Michael J. McCorley and his band. The name of the song is She's an Amusement Park. And the name of his band, believe it or not, is Band from Heaven. And that's Banned, from Heaven. And he is one of, I would say, the top 3 recording audio engineers in Canada. So, Mike, I know you listen to the X Zone. Here's to you, my friend. And the X Zone is coming to you right here from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed classic1220.ca. Amelia, before we went to the break, we were talking about abused animals, and I agree with you 100%. Children need to be better educated when it comes to animals, taking care of animals, loving animals, understanding the connection of animals. And religious philosophical books, including the Bible, give us that order because we are the tenants of this planet. And they're here. And, the Garden of Eden was filled with animals, Noah's Ark. God said, I'll save humans, but I want to save the animals. And this is what we have to get back to. We have to get back to the basics. We have to get back to letting people know, not only children, but teach the children. And when people break the law when it comes to animal abuse, persecute them to the end of the earth. I'm sorry, I don't go for animal abuse. They've always been part of my family. And when you take a look at a animal's eyes, a cat's eyes, a dog's eyes, or when they show love and affection, there's no other feeling in the world like it.
Rob, you're going to make me cry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was so beautiful. And the animals were here first.
Yes.
So now the Bible tells us in the Garden of Eden, the animals were here 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was in perfect harmony. If you look at the symbiotic relationships in nature between animals, insects, food, and how it's all changing now with global warming, they're doing the best they can to try to manage the human crisis. And it's one of the things I wanted to address is right before your break, you said the overwhelm of it.
Mm-hmm.
I teach people, choose one thing. It's easy to say everything, the Korean dog meat and all the different ways that they're being corrupted and tortured and compromised. If we choose one thing that we can help with, if every single person would devote to one thing, whether that's we're going to go volunteer with the horses and veterans coming back from the war, with a particular kind of dog program, with men in prisons, with children in prisons. I've done all these things around the world. But if you pick one and do it to the best of your ability, if every single person would start working on this, but it isn't outside of us. The problem is inside of us. And once we learn how to find what is that God, goddess, that particle, what is that feeling where we can be filled with love. And then to understand, and everyone does, even though we're not allowed to talk about it, there is much God in your dog, in your cat, in your horse, as there is in any church on this planet. And our greatest spiritual teachers did not deny this. The Catholic Church has an animal psychic who's a saint. You cannot deny
That's
it.
right.
St. Francis was an animal psychic. Now, one of the philosophies of how much has been cut out of the Bible or suppressed or rewritten or got burned in the Library of Alexandria, that we lost a lot of the really juicy stuff about reincarnation and other planets and interplanetary travel and seeding the planet. And I'm sure that Christ taught those things and that they might have gotten suppressed. But there are incidences of Christ with animals. Christ called the fish to jump into Peter's boat, and the fish were going to get eaten. They sacrificed themselves. So the ability here to be able to connect with beauty, with the designs that they are, and then to open ourselves up and realize we can feel their feelings. We can feel what's happening inside their bodies. We can connect to them once they've gone to heaven. Those spirits are as real in your home. And if you have dogs that have passed away and you see things go flying off your table, it's probably that dog's tail. Or you feel a little landing on your bed, as I do every night of my life, and feel those paws march up my body and into my arms. Technically, he's invisible, but there's no such thing as death. So they're available, And reincarnation is a fact. I mean,
Yes.
I didn't set out to prove it. It proves itself every single day. Every single student, I'll say, how many of you have an animal that you know you've had before? I'd say at least 80% of the hands go up.
I've had many people on the show who have had near-death experience, out-of-body experiences. I've had many medical practitioners, doctors, and nurses on the show who, at the time of passing of a patient, just prior, they see their dog, they see their cat, they see their relatives. You can't deny the existence of the evidence that is being provided to us on a scale that's never before seen in the history of humanity when it comes to out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, life after death, life before death, life during life. The evidence is there. We just have to open up, like you said, open up your mind, close yourself into a place where you block everything out of your mind except what you want to, all those noises that we all put up with all the time, and open your heart, and you'll find out for yourself that it's true.
It is, that was so well said. And it can be the most simple thing. So if I'm teaching, I'm going to say, what is this dog's favorite food?
Mm-hmm.
And you drop into this state of grace where your mind is silent, your emotions are silent, you're connected to God, Goddess, all that is, and you're able to simply sit in silence and send nothing but love to that animal and create a connection that is no less real than an internet signal. There are different waves of energy around us, and there are waves of information. And this is a learned skill. It's not there certainly are people that are born with more innate talent. I'd always been a meditator, even as a child. So maybe it was easier for me to silence my mind. But the reality of it is this connection, being able to hear them, something so simple, and there's so much laughter in it. If a dog tells you his favorite food is dog food, you're not tuned in. But if that dog tells you his favorite food is a syrup on a hot buttery waffle, and you think you're wrong because it feels strange. It's not your mind manufacturing information. You're listening from the outside. And then that person goes, oh my God, he stole the waffle off my table this morning at breakfast. Then you go, oh, okay, something's happening here. And you might ask, are you missing anybody? You might hear a name. And then when you say, oh, I see a little blonde boy who's 5 years old named Oliver. And she says, my grandson was just here at Christmas time. His name was Oliver, and my dog loves him and misses him. It's easy. It's easier. We've been taught a lot of lies about ourselves. And so when we're learning, oh, I can access information through my body. I can hear things. I can see visions. I can feel sensation. I can feel emotional pain. And I'm willing to melt myself down and allow that emotional pain to pour through me so that we can heal this thing and not avoid it anymore. This is learned helplessness. When the humans are all being taught, oh, it's all so awful, dark forces have control of everything, and there's nothing you can do. That is not true. But we have to have a new sense of willingness to feel some connection, because there's nothing in the world feels more fun. This is the most fun, most exciting thing anyone could ever experience.
Amelia, what was your most prolific case that you worked on? The one that stands out in your mind and in your heart more than any other case?
Gosh, I mean, there's so many. I've had so many miracles with snakes, even black mamba, great white sharks. But if I were going to narrow down to one, and this is a great way to toot my own horn, I'm not saying that you're always surrendering. I mean, I'm saying there's fear in it. There's excitement in it. There's a knowing it's like God's going to call you on the phone and you've made that appointment. I'd say, Rob, it was probably Buckingham Palace with the Queen's horses, and also with Prince Charles, who's now King Charles. But I got called into the military of Buckingham Palace, where all the horses are kept. And I had a conversation with one of the horses because the head of their military, their assistant adjutant, was the one who took the meeting with me. Now, simple things. I'm meeting the horse. I said, "Who's your best friend?" "I see a gray and white cat." I went, "Oh, I don't see any cats in here. I didn't know they had cats in the stalls here." Well, he confirmed that. He confirmed one of the little blonde boy was his grandson. But the most amazing thing, really, they didn't know what was wrong with the horse. And this is what I encounter every day. Maybe they called in 5 vets. They run every test known to man. This is what I see every day with my clients. And it doesn't have anything to do with it. Last thing the horse needs to do is get tortured, with these tests, which can be very grueling for horses. He wasn't himself. He wasn't acting right. He wasn't eating. He had lost his spirit. And I said, "What's going on with you?" And I saw this bay horse, a dark brown, young male horse, standing next to him on his right side. I heard the name Bernard. And he said, "I was just training him." Now, this, again, it's coming in through pictures, feelings, words. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It'll use your brain, your computer, in order to give you the information. Said, "Well, I was just training him, and this Saturday," and yes, they can tell time, "we have a huge practice, and I needed him to be here with me, and I'm the Queen's favorite, and I'm the head of the parade, and he's now missing." And he was missing. Horses are extremely emotional. People have no idea how they never forget anything. They may be missing their mother. They may be missing a horse that they knew 12 years ago. They don't forget. So I told this to the assistant adjutant. He almost fainted. I'll never forget his face. And he said there was a young male bay horse standing next to this one named Bernard that had gotten moved up to Prince Charles' hunting facility. So then I got to go up there, which is further north in England, meet that horse, bring that horse back to Buckingham Palace, and come to find out the one that I was talking to was the Queen's favorite, was the head horse, lead horse in the parade. The Saturday practice was about to happen. So
I've got to take another break here. I'm sorry. This is another cliffhanger. Exonation, our guest is Amelia Kinkade. Her website is ameliakinkade.com. And we'll be back as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
Farnham and Bailey, at these 3 shows daily. She's a carnival girl. She's more fun than a tilt. If a picture paints 1,000.
And welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell, and you're listening to the X Zone right here on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. My guest this hour is Amelia Kinkade. Website, ameliakinkade.com. First of all, Amelia, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. And for all the people who have listened to you and understand where you're coming from and appreciate the hard work that you're doing, thank you.
Oh, thank you. So our Buckingham Palace story, the climax of that is that it all panned out. But that ability to hear a name, to be able to get specific information, it's not a God-given gift. It is a learned skill. Because now I'm teaching webinars. I've got my students on from all over the world, and they're hearing names. They're getting specific answers that have to do with medical conditions, with names not only of animals that have crossed over to the other side, but our human ancestors who've crossed over. So in that world, let's say that your cat passes away, and you said you've seen it. People talk about it. The childhood animals come bounding out of that gateway of light, and you realize that a lot of our human spirit animals, our human ancestors, are keeping their animals that they loved on Earth, and our animals that we loved, and that they come back. They reincarnate and they come back.
So where do we cross the line? And what I mean by that is, where does the human psyche and the animal psyche cross, or are they one and the same?
Consciousness is consciousness. And it doesn't matter whether the creator's creation is a raccoon or a squid or an eagle or a cheetah or a lion or an elephant or a hippo or a warthog. I mean, the creator is in all of the creations. We are part of the divine creator that created all of this. So the spark of God consciousness is the same in all of us. And if we acknowledge that, and I think now what's happening, I mean, maybe it's a double-edged sword, but humans are turning toward our animals for comfort. We know that there's something in them that is so pure. We know that that connection to God and love and beauty and harmony and sanity and everything that we humans need, it's already in these other animals. It hasn't been tainted yet. Because we have free will, we have the ability to choose. Now, am I going to acknowledge that I have the capacity to grow? And even though everyone else might make fun of you in the beginning, let me tell you, they won't be making fun of you for long. Because this ability it's as close as your own breath. It's already in you. We've just been taught to ignore it.
Why have we been taught to ignore it? If it's part of nature, should we not be privy to this information and to this ability right from the very start?
Well, times are changing. And if we were going to give them credit, our ancestors lived on farms. So our great-grandparents, maybe even our grandparents, lived on a farm. And we wouldn't be alive if they didn't shut down a lot of their sensitivity and compassion. But they're going to say, we have to kill that pig. We're going to eat that pig. We're going to eat that turkey. We don't want the children getting connected and emotionally attached to them. So we have to survive. But that's a part of our past that can change now. That doesn't make sense anymore in today's world. We're looking for unity now and connection. So to acknowledge, yes, it may have made sense when it made sense. If you look at how many wars soldiers have been using horses in, riding horses into battle. I mean, all the cruel things that we've done now has the ability to change. But we can't wallow in victimhood anymore. We can't say, oh, it's all so terrible, I can't do anything about it. It's changing now. And the children being born now, a lot of them are coming into this planet fully switched on. And they need our support. And one of the things I teach on a regular basis is we are here to educate the next generation of children. If that means people are going to say, oh, I'm crazy. Well, let me tell you, no. Making me memorize 50 presidents' names and repeat them back, all that brainwashing that I had to endure in school, that's crazy. This is not crazy. Being able to connect to God and life in a new way and nature, and acknowledge that we can receive information in our bodies in a new way. Nothing could be a more exciting proposition.
Amelia, tell us about your foundations.
My nonprofit is called Amelia's Archangel Society, and I am opening now. The safari is open, and part of that, I take people to the only lodge in the world where elephants walk through the lobby. These are the elephants that have adopted me. My own personal adult elephant family walk through the hotel lobby, and they'll be waiting when we get there. So part of the safari is going out to the schools and working with the children. So we've got all different ages, but some of them are very young. And we're dancing as elephants, drawing elephants, making up plays about elephants and family. The same thing with lions. In Rwanda, I do it with gorilla. Different kinds of big cats. It was pangolin right before COVID in Zimbabwe. So we're teaching the children that animals have feelings, and they love their families, and they would miss their mothers if their mothers got poached. And working from that very ground floor, that grassroots place, this tiny charity, I've only just begun it. I think it's a beginning of saying, well, let's start working with the kids. A lot of the adults, I'm sorry to say, it's too late with a lot of them. But they're not going to be here forever. It's the new generation that will be the stewards of the planet. So that's called Archangel. Anybody who cannot come on a safari, you can find the charity, and please support me because I'm going to get down there this year. And just learning simple things, the difference between a physical problem and an emotional problem. That's the biggest problem with veterinarians and with animals. Your dog might have the symptoms of stomach cancer. Might have stomach ache. You don't know what's going on with this dog. And the dog just refuses to eat. The dog's nauseous. The dog's nervous. You might find out it's something that you're doing, that you're the one who's upsetting them, fighting with your partner, screaming at your kids or whatever. Or you might find out it has nothing to do with a physical issue. They're having an emotional reaction to something. Maybe their favorite dog moved away and you never even knew that other dog was in the neighborhood, and he's now lost his girlfriend and he's grieving.
I think that Hollywood tried to get this across to children and people years ago with Dr. Dolittle. The message was there. If you could talk to the animals, well, you can.
You can.
Yeah.
You can. And if we don't learn from them, they're the elders of the planet. They're our spiritual teachers. And if we can't connect to them, we can't even hear our own spiritual teachers, that means the humans are in kindergarten still. And we've got to learn how to trust ourselves more. The magic is in us. And we're learning, okay, all this negativity that we've been taught, it's not even true. It's not true. We're not so limited. We're not helpless. We're not victims. We're powerful. And we have the ability to make beautiful changes on the planet. But it starts so small. It starts with that cat who desperately needs you to hear him. Or your own dog, and you know that he's upset about something and you don't know what it is. It's easy just to sit and be in love with them and learn how to listen.
And if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And who wants to be part of a problem anymore? It's about time we all say, let's hold hands and let's work together to make this planet a better place. And that includes sharing the planet and giving the animals the respect that they so justifiably need and deserve. Amelia, we're coming to the point pretty soon when you and I must say so long. So what are your final thoughts? What would you like to share with the Exo Nation over the next minute and a half?
Well, I've got 3 different webinars that I'm teaching. So one of them is the basic animal communication of how to connect with their thoughts, their feelings, their needs, and open this new part of yourself. I'm also teaching mediumship for animals and humans so that we learn that we can develop that ability to acknowledge when there's a presence around us that might even be trying to guide us in a positive way. And then my Ancient Aliens 5D Ascension is about animals and the planet and this exciting new capacity to open our psychic ability.
Fascinating. All I can say is I wish you the best of luck because you are doing so much, so much. And like I told you during our commercial break, if there's anything we can do for you here on the X Zone, we're just an email or a phone call away.
Well, thank you. What a heart you have, and what you've done for animals is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you very much. Animals have always been a very big part of my life. And it hurts so much to see the animals that have been abused. Mind you, I must take my hat off now and give many thanks to the people who work in animal shelters, who work for the SPCA, who work for the different foundations, who try to do their very best to keep the animals safe, to make better the animals that have been injured. And well, God bless them all. They all deserve our thanks. And that goes for you, my dear.
Wow. Well, back at you. And it's we're going to win.
You bet we are.
It's working, and it's going to continue to work.
You bet we are. Where can our listeners get your books, as well as give them your website one more time?
It's just my name, and there are 2 Ks. It's Amelia, and Kinkade is Kinkade. So there's 6 books available now, and most of them are available on Amazon, on the different publishers around the world in different languages. And it's an exciting new way to go through life with a goal that can help heal the world around us and the world inside of us.
Amelia, thank you very much for being with us. Take care of yourself and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Exonation, my guest this hour has been Amelia Kinkade, and her website is ameliakinkade.com. That's it for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. So until tomorrow night, my good friends, take care of each other, be kind to your pets, share the love around the world, and always keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone.